You know that feeling of being completely trapped by credit card debt? So many people feel it. But what if I told you the reason most people stay trapped is because they're missing a key secret? See, it's not just about paying off the balance. It's about breaking a cycle for good. And in this explainer, we're going to lay out the exact system to not only clear your debt, but to make sure it never comes back.
All right, so here's our game plan. First up, we're going to figure out what the real enemy is here. Then we'll get into the single most important first move you absolutely have to make. After that, we'll arm you with 2 powerful payoff plans, help you build a totally debt-proof system for your money, and finally, we'll unlock the mindset that will keep you debt-free for life. Ready?
Okay, let's kick things off with a question that honestly trips up almost everyone. Is getting out of debt just a math problem? I mean, can you just throw enough money at it and watch it disappear for good? What do you think?
The answer? It's a hard no. It's not. Look, if you only focus on the numbers, the math, without fixing the habits that got you there in the first place, the debt is just going to come back. It always does. You might win a little battle against one credit card balance, but you will absolutely lose the war. And that's why we have to start with behavior.
Okay, so let's dig in and identify the true enemy. Because really, before we can even think about solutions, we have to know what we're actually fighting. And here's a little spoiler for you. It's not the credit card.
So here's the thing. The credit cards themselves, they aren't the real problem. They're just a symptom. The real issue, the disease, is a broken system. It's spending more money than you make, using debt to paper over that gap, and just not having a plan for your money. If you only treat the symptom, the credit card balance, the disease is just going to keep coming back.
All right, so we know the real problem now. What's the first move? Well, it's probably not what you think. We're not going to pay anything off just yet. The very first thing we have to do is stop the bleeding. This is like pulling the emergency brake on your finances, and you have to do it right now.
I love this quote because it just makes so much sense. You cannot get out of a hole while still digging. I mean, just picture that for a second. It's impossible, right? You can't climb out if you're still digging deeper. And that is exactly what's happening with your debt.
So what does stopping the digging actually look like? It means you stop using your credit cards immediately. Cold turkey. Take them out of your wallet. I'm serious. Some people literally put them in a bowl of water and stick it in the freezer. Whatever it takes to create a barrier. From this point forward, you only spend money you actually have. We're talking cash or debit. This step right here, it's completely non-negotiable.
Okay, so the bleeding has stopped. Now, it's time to choose your weapon. We need a plan to attack the debt that's already there, and there are 2 main, proven strategies for this. Let's break them both down.
But before we jump into the 2 methods, we have to come back to our main idea here. Personal finance is all about behavior. The math, it's actually secondary. The best plan is not the one that looks prettiest on a spreadsheet. It's the one that actually works for a real live human being.
All right, on one side, we have the debt snowball. With this one, you forget about interest rates for a minute. You list your debts from smallest to largest, and you throw every extra dollar at that smallest one. Why? Because you knock it out fast. You get this quick win, and that feels amazing. It gives you motivation. Then, you take the money you were paying on that debt, and you roll it into the next smallest one. Your payment gets bigger and bigger, like a snowball rolling downhill. It's all about behavior. On the other side, you have the debt avalanche. Now, this one is pure math. You list your debts by the highest interest rate, and you attack that one first. This will save you the most money in interest over time. It's technically more efficient, but it might take a while to feel that first win.
So, which one should you pick? Look, here's the honest truth. The biggest reason people fail at getting out of debt is because they just quit. The snowball method, with all its quick little wins, is designed to keep you motivated and in the game. But hey, if you're a total numbers geek and the most efficient path gets you fired up, then the avalanche is for you. The best plan is the one you'll actually stick with, period.
Winning the battle to get out of debt is huge, but let's be real. You never want to have to fight that battle again. And that's why just having a payoff plan isn't enough. You need a system. Think of it like building a financial fortress to protect you for good.
In this fortress, it's built on 4 main pillars. First, you need a zero-based budget. That just means you tell every single one of your dollars where to go before the month even starts. Second, a starter emergency fund. This is your shield. Third, a super simple weekly money check-in, just to make sure you're staying on course. And fourth, the accelerator pedal, finding ways to bring in more money to speed this whole thing up.
Let's talk about that emergency fund for a sec. The very first goal is so simple, so achievable, just $1,000. Now, this isn't for a vacation, it's not for retirement. This money has one very, very specific job to do.
At $1,000, it is the firewall between you and going back into debt. Because when the car breaks down or the fridge dies, and trust me, life will happen, this money is what you'll use. Without it, what happens? Every little emergency sends you right back to the credit cards, and you're stuck in that same old cycle all over again.
And that weekly check-in, it is just as critical. It might sound like a drag, but we're talking 15 minutes a week. That's it. Just looking at your numbers, seeing your progress, it creates awareness. And here's the bottom line, you cannot control what you don't pay attention to. Awareness is the absolute foundation of control.
Okay, this brings us to the final piece of the puzzle. And honestly, it's the most important part. How do you make all of this stick? How do you make it permanent? This is where we go beyond just tactics and spreadsheets, and we get into real, lasting transformation.
So staying debt-free for life really comes down to three things. First, you have to create a permanent gap between what you earn and what you spend. Second, you put your savings on autopilot, so you're paying yourself first without even thinking about it. But that third key, the one that holds it all together, it's the most powerful of all. It's making a shift in your identity.
So what's the single most powerful secret to making this permanent? I mean, what's the one thing that separates the people who stay debt-free forever from the ones who fall back into old habits? It's not a tactic. It's not a spreadsheet. It's an identity. It's about changing fundamentally how you see yourself. Because, look, tactics can be forgotten, systems can break, but when you change your core identity, that's forever. You have to stop saying, I'm trying to get out of debt. Instead, you start telling yourself, I'm someone who doesn't live on debt. See the difference? When that becomes your core belief, your actions just start to line up automatically. It's not a struggle anymore. It's just who you are. And this brings me to my final point, and it's a big one. So many people think that getting to a zero balance on their credit cards is the finish line, that it's the end of the journey, but that's thinking way too small. Because getting out of debt isn't the finish line. It's the starting line. It's the solid foundation you've just built, and now you can start building real, lasting wealth on top of it. This is where your real financial journey begins.